made.
Yes.
I can hear you. The past High Holy Days during September Tishrei, I found myself thinking a lot about the tightrope. When you walk between two secure buildings and you balance on a tightrope, you feel like you might fall off. And during the month of Tishrei, when we're celebrating and marking all of our holy days, we feel that we're in the balance. Reb Nachman of Braslav, familiar friend to many of us, who lived in Poland, who lived a life of mental illness, taught us, Kol ha'olam kulo yesher tsar meod, v'ha'ikar lo lefached klal. The whole wide world is a very narrow bridge, and the important thing is that we must not be consumed by fear. I recently learned about Poland, the place where he lived, specifically when Reb Nachman looked around. There's a lot of bridges. There's a lot of bridges that surrounded Reb Nachman, and so what he was afraid of surrounded him constantly. What we are surrounded by is terrifying to us. The ha'ikar, and the core thing of it all, lo lefached klal. Reb Nachman declared that the entire world is full of that which terrifies us, and yet we must not let fear consume us. We balance. We walk between. We weave. We steady. We are balancing together on a tightrope, stretched between the world we are in now and the world where we wish to be. In my fascination with tightrope walking, I learned about the poles that tightrope walkers carry. And they're very long, and they look like they might actually make you fall. But the thing about tightrope poles is that they lower your center of gravity. So it's actually a lot easier to walk across a tightrope if you're holding one of these long, thin poles. We are walking between the world we are in and the world we long to see. And we are carrying the tools we have to balance and to steady. As you can see around you, I actually invite you to turn or sense the people that are near you. We are not alone. Imagine with me, if you will, maybe even tilt your head up to the sky, a forest canopy of tight ropes stretched above us. Because we are not alone. In fact, we are all walking tight ropes together, and we are not just holding our own balancing pole. We're grabbing on to the end of the person standing next to us, and we have woven a canopy that steadies us. That, though we mourn, though we falter, nothing can shake us. It is this interconnection that causes us to be steady. We will not be knocked off course by our grief and our fear. We will not thicken the walls between us in the pursuit of safety. We will not show up at these rallies in these sacred places, in these places of holy memory, only when our own safety is threatened. We will show up. We will show up in our homes, in our workplaces, and in the streets to fight anti-Semitism. We will show up in our homes and our workplaces and our streets to fight white supremacy. We will show up in our homes and our workplaces and the streets to welcome the stranger, to care for the sick, to comfort the mourner, and to give help to those in need. We will show up in our homes, our workplaces, and streets to fight Islamophobia, to fight anti-refugee bias and violence. We'll show up in the streets and in our homes and in our workplaces and our places of worship to fight transphobia in all of its manifestations. We'll show up up in times of grief and pain, and we will show up in times of joy, knowing that when we show up in pain together, it strengthens us. So when it is time to take the streets and to taste freedom for everyone, we'll know how to celebrate. We'll know what joy is like on a small level, so that when joy really comes in its fullest sense, we can get there together. We speak the names of the dead so that they may be remembered for blessing and for action. That the intensity of our fear and grief will not dull or dampen, but that every time we say their names, our grief will transform. We pray that their names will be on our lips and in our marching feet and in our embracing arms. As I recite the names of those who are killed Shabbat morning in Pittsburgh, I invite you to respond to each of their names with the phrase, "May their memory be for a blessing." Joyce Feinberg, 75.
May their memory be a blessing.
Richard Gottfried, 65.
May their memory be for a blessing.
Rose Mallinger, age 97.
May their memory be for a blessing.
Jerry Rabinowitz, age 66.
May their memory be for a blessing.
Cecil Rosenthal, age 59.
May their memory be for a blessing.
David Rosenthal, 54.
May their memory be for a blessing.
Bernice Simon, age 84.
May their memory be for a blessing.
Sylvan Simon, age 86.
May their memory be for a blessing.
Daniel Stein, age 71.
May their memory be for a blessing.
Melvin Wax, age 88.
May their memory be for a blessing.
Irvin Younger, age 69.
May their memory be for a blessing.
And in Louisville, this Thursday, 2 Black elders shot at a grocery store. Vicki Lee Jones.
May their memory be for a blessing.
Maurice E. Stallard.
May their memory be for a blessing.
The whole wide world is a thin line, stretched between 2 points, and we fear falling off. We will not let this thicken the separations between communities. We will not capitalize on tragedy to forward our own candidates or positions, our own egos and our own talking points, our own racism, our own xenophobias. To balance, we will steady ourselves. We will not be knocked off course. We will keep focus. See the point ahead. Keep balance.